Coming to double column cash book. Now students, we know that double column cash book shows both cash account as well as bank account. Cash account and bank account. Now this is how the format of a double column cash book appears. Again, debit side is the receipt side, credit side is the payment side. The only difference is that the amount column has two columns now, the one which represents cash and the second one which represents bank. Cash and bank on both the sides, debit and credit. Now students, it is amply clear that the entries in which cash is received will appear on the debit side of the cash column, and in which cash is paid will appear on the payment side of the cash column. But in cases where checks are received, now I am saying checks are received, so such entries are made in bank column. Whereas where checks are paid, the entries would be made in the bank column on the payment side, which is the credit side. Now students, it is very clear that only the receipts and payments of cash and checks are recorded. Now in this double column cash book, there are two special entries. They are referred to as contra entries. Now what is special about them? Usually all the entries are recorded on one side, either on the receipt side or on the payment side. But in case of contra entries, the entry or the posting is made on both the sides. That is, once in cash column and the other time in the bank column. Now these are the transactions in which both the accounts that are involved are cash and bank. Now let us illustrate. There are two types of entries. One is deposited cash into bank. Rupees 25,000. Now students, deposited cash into bank. Let us generalize this transactions. Now since we are depositing cash into bank, bank is the receiver. The journal entry would be bank account debited to cash account. The amount would be 25,000. Now students, bank account and cash account, these two accounts are involved, and for both these accounts the postings have to be made in the double column cash book. So it will appear on the debit side of the bank account and will appear on the credit side of the cash account. That is, on the debit side, that is receipt side, the entry would be made in the bank column, whereas for this, that is the cash which has been credited, entry would be made on the payment side in cash column. Okay students. Now the second transaction is withdrew from bank for office use, rupees 10,000. Now here the owner or the manager or any worker has withdrawn 10,000 rupees from the business or from the bank account of the business for official use. So the journal entry in this case would be cash account debited to bank account. Since we are receiving cash, real account, debit what comes in. Amount would be 10,000. Now students, whenever we post this into our cash book, since cash has been debited, it will be recorded on the debit side, that is the receipt side, whereas it will be recorded on the credit side in the bank column. Now students, let us try and understand these two transactions by posting them here. For first transaction students, bank is debited, so on the debit side we will write to cash in the bank column 25,000, and cash has been credited, so by bank In the cash column, we'll make an entry of 25,000 rupees. Now both the postings have been made here. In ledger folio column, we'll write C against these two entries so as to signify that they are postings from a contra entry. Similarly, for the next transaction, that is cash to bank. Since we are receiving cash on the debit side to bank account, contra entry, in the cash column 10,000 and buy cash, contra entry again, in the bank column 10,000. So students, contra entries are the entries in which, unlike other transactions where only one posting is made in the cash book, in these entries two postings are made, and they are peculiarly of two types, that is deposited cash into bank and withdrew bank from for office use.